I'm Dorothy from Let's Eat Malaysian. Today I'm going to teach you how to cook Mamak chicken. Now, Mamak chicken is actually a chicken that is deep fried. And when I was in Malaysia, I used to love this dish. Now, basically, Mamak chicken in Malaysia, it's only done with salt and turmeric powder, but I'm doing it my way. Now, I have here 4 nice juicy drumsticks, chicken drumsticks. What we do first, we want to have that skin on, because once it is deep fried, it's so yummy and crunchy. So leave the chicken skin on. First of all, we're going to cut the chicken drumsticks into slits so that it can deep fry easier and well done. So just put 2 slits in the chicken. Put 2 deep slits opposite side. Now what you do next is you marinate the chickens with salt. Well, salt is up to taste. Some people like it more salty. I'm always very careful with my salt because I don't want to overdo it. Because if your chicken is too salty and it smells good, you won't be able to eat it. So I'm going to be careful with my salt here. Turn the drumstick the other way around and do the other side too. Now the other reason that I don't want to put too much salt, because the seasoning has salt in itself, okay? So then you rub it all over. Rub it until the salt can get into your drumstick. Well, what I'm using here is Kentucky flour. You can get a few different brands in the shops, and any brand will do. Now you have to be careful. Some say hot and spicy, and it can be quite hot. Well, so the one that I'm using doesn't have any chili at all. Now, what you're going to do is make sure that the amount of flour that you put in is enough to coat your 4 drumsticks. So I think I will be using, now this is just a half a packet, but you will probably need about at least 1/3 of a packet. I'm going to add I'm using a teaspoon here, so this will be about half a teaspoon of turmeric. And half a teaspoon of Baba's chili powder. Just to give it some heat in my chicken. So I'm going for another half teaspoon of chili powder. So that means you'll be putting in 1 teaspoon. Now, as I say, heat depends on how much you can take. Alright, so I'm going to drop these drumsticks in and evenly coat them. Now usually when I do this dish, I marinate the chickens with this flour and I keep them overnight in the fridge. Now if you can't do that, at least let it stand for 1 or 2 hours before you start to deep fry the chicken. Okay, here we go. Now when you coat your drumstick, you want to try to coat everything, even the skin. And you want to get into the groove where you have done the slit. So try to coat it until the drumstick is pretty dry. Now here I have the marinated pieces of chicken, and there's some balance of the flour. Now what I do is I will cling wrap the chicken and put it into the fridge. Now usually if I do this dish, I do it a day early and keep it in the fridge. And I do not throw this flour away, because the next day or later when you bring it out, they're bound to be a bit damp, and that's when you use the extra flour to re-coat your chicken before you drop it into the oil. Now the balance of the flour that we had earlier, we're going to top up. As you see, it's a bit damp, moist. That's when you use this flour to add on. So that when it deep fries, you'll get a nice, crispy, crunchy, thick, hopefully, layer of skin to munch on. Meanwhile, I'm also heating up my oil to save some time. Now to check to see whether your oil is hot enough, you put your chopsticks in, the bamboo chopsticks, and there should be a bit of bubble if it's ready. Yeah, can you see? There's bubble. That means your oil is ready for deep frying. Now, to fry this chicken, you lower the fire. You want it to fry slowly. Okay, now that it's very hot, you can start to cook your chicken. Now I'm using a pot instead of a wok, so that the oil will be deep enough for the chicken. Put 2 at a time. Your chicken must be very dry when you put it in oil, and lower the fire, because if you have too much moisture in your chicken, the oil is going to pop a lot. So I'm giving it some time to cook on one side before I turn it over. The reason I am advising that you don't continue cooking your chicken with a very high fire is because the oil will splatter. On top of that, when the chicken cooks too fast, it will darken, but the meat inside will still be quite raw. So cooking it with a lower fire and slowly giving it time will give you better results.